Good evening, everyone, and welcome to some more Kahok Girls Volleyball here on the Kahok Broadcast Club Network. My name is Zach Roseman. Glad that you're here with us on a warm, but not overly so, Tuesday afternoon, early evening now, really, in Southwest Illinois. And like I said, we're here for some volleyball as the Collinsville Kahawks are set to take on the East St. Louis Flyerettes. Collinsville come in with a record of 6-6 on the year, 0-2 in Southwestern Conference play, and are coming off of a 3-2 performance at the Alton tournament over the weekend. Wins for the Kahawks over Veritas Christian Academy out of O'Fallon, Missouri. Hazelwood East out of Spanish Lake. I'm not technically sure what the address is, but on that side of the river anyway, and also a win over Notre Dame High School from the city of St. Louis. With losses to the host Redbirds and to the tournament champion Windsor Owls. East St. Louis, they come in, I believe, with a record of 4-3. They are 1-1 in Southwestern Conference play and have not played for quite a while. Just kind of a quirk in their schedule that they had 12 days in between games. So it might be a little interesting to see if there is anything in regards to rust for the Flyerettes to shake off as they get going here into this one. They also had their have participated in their first tournament of the year, but theirs was quite a bit earlier, back in the beginning of the year, up at the Quincy Early Bird Invitational. And they also finished in second place, also with a 3-2 record. Their two losses coming to the host Blue Devils, who I understand are having a very good year. For conference results, East St. Louis has a loss to Belleville East and a win over Alton, who did beat Collinsville. So, make of that what you will. We'll see what happens here tonight. Collinsville, of course, are coached by Katie Dawson in her first year. The Flyerettes are coached by Melanie Davis, who has been around for a decent number of years. I don't have an exact number, but probably pushing 10. Possibly even longer than that. So, we'll go ahead and take our first break here on the Kahok Broadcast Club Network. Be back in just a minute for some more information on the teams and anything else that strikes my fancy. Back here in just a bit on the Kahok Broadcast Club Network.
Looking for a little bite to eat in a nice friendly establishment before heading out to a game? Look no further than LC's Pub in Caseyville. Just blocks from Collinsville High School, LC's Pub is the pub of choice for Kahawk fans, before, after, or even during Kahawk games. LC's Pub features a wide variety of traditional bar food like burgers and fries, chicken wings and chicken strips, appetizers like pepper jack mac and cheese bites, fried pickles, and green beans. Plus they have salads, fish, shrimp, and more. LC's Pub also features an outdoor patio, a gaming room, weekly poker tournaments, and a pool table, plus enough TVs for all the sports fans. And LC's Pub shows Kahawk games live, as well as Blues and Cardinals games. LC's Pub, 605 North Main Street in Caseyville, right across the intersection from All Pro Tees. Call for carry-out orders at 618-855-9007 and on Facebook at LC's Pub. LC's Pub, Kahawk fans' pub of choice. Are you a collector of sports trading cards and other sports memorabilia? Then you need to check out Rippin' Rookies Cards and Collectibles in Collinsville. Rippin' Rookies specializes in sports cards from all the major sports, MLB, NBA, NFL, plus Star Wars cards and more. Rippin' Rookies buys, sells, and trades cards and other memorabilia, and they have a large selection of single and graded cards. Walk-ins at Rippin' Rookies are welcome, or you can set up an appointment for large collections at sales@rippinrookies.com. Rippin' Rookies, 102 East Clay Street in the Old Herald Complex. Open Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., Sundays, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Rippin' Rookies, Collinsville sports card and memorabilia destination.
Hi, Purple and White fans. This is Dan Mode, class of 1989. I'm with New American Funding. Myself and New American Funding are proud sponsors of Kahok Athletics. As we have great coaches at CHS on all the courts, fields, and tracks, we like to coach you through the home buying process and refinance process. If there's ever anything we can do, I can be reached at 618-973-5343 or www.danmodeloans.com. Let's support our student athletes at CHS. They deserve the best. Thank you for your time, and go Kahawks.
Mike and Sarah's Produce in Collinsville is a one-stop destination for seasonal fruits, vegetables, and more. Located at 116 North Bluff Road, Mike and Sarah's Produce features fresh selections of your favorite fruits and veggies, from cherries, peaches, and watermelons to corn, tomatoes, and zucchini. You can find all of your produce needs at Mike and Sarah's. Seasonal favorites such as pumpkins in the fall, summer peaches, spring asparagus, and more. Plus, Mike and Sarah's Produce is a go-to in the spring for flowered plants, hanging baskets, and a large selection of fresh seafood. Mike and Sarah's Produce, 116 North Bluff Road in Collinsville. Stop by today. Diamonds for Kahawks is a facility improvement project to develop a baseball, softball, and football/soccer field for CHS students and our communities to utilize. The project includes 2 baseball fields, 2 softball fields, a soccer/football field, concession stand, bathrooms, and parking. The development of this facility will benefit the band, PE classes, baseball team, softball team, and soccer team with a centralized location, ease of access, and an eye-catching complex. Please contact A.D. Clay Smith to donate to this project or visit the Collinsville Area Community Foundation website to make your tax-deductible donation today. Want to catch some of the best live music in Collinsville from a band of local area residents? Well, look no further than Sonically Pleasing. Sonically Pleasing with Tim Carlisle, Jim Kaysen, Logan Carlisle, and Caleb Tanzius. They play some of the best rock and roll hits from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and beyond. You can catch Sonically Pleasing at some of the area's finest venues, as well as book Sonically Pleasing for your private event or party. To put some music in your life, it's Sonically Pleasing. Check out Sonically Pleasing's Facebook page for upcoming live show dates and to book them for your special event. Or call to book that event at 618-401-0052. Pleasing live rock music for your ears. It's Sonically Pleasing. 618-401-0052. That's 618-401-0052. The choices you make to celebrate the life of your loved one should be as special as the person they represent. That's why you will always find the staff at Her Funeral Home in Collinsville ready to go the extra mile to meet the needs of you and your family during those times. For over 100 years, Her Funeral Home has been there for Collinsville and the surrounding communities. Of the many arrangements made after losing a loved one, the first is the selection of a funeral home. The staff at Her Funeral Home in Collinsville can help with that planning. Call Her Funeral Home in Collinsville at 618-344-0187. Her Funeral Home, serving Collinsville families for over 100 years. 618-344-0187. Got vinyl? Rich's Record Emporium in Uptown Collinsville can take care of all of your vinyl needs and more. You can peruse through thousands of records from country to hard-to-find jazz, and classic rock is always in stock at Rich's Record Emporium, used vinyl, new vinyl, and hard-to-find vinyl. Don't forget to check out the audio room at Rich's, where you can check out the latest in audio gear, from new top-of-the-line speakers to turntables and receivers, plus all the accessories. Rich has t-shirts, record cleaners, turntable needles, wall art, and so much more. If you can't find what you're looking for at Rich's, they will do their best to find it for you. Don't forget to mention seeing this ad on the Kahok Sports Network for a 10% discount at checkout. Rich's Record Emporium, 131 West Main Street in Collinsville, or call 618-795-1333 or online at richesrecordemporium.com.
We welcome you back here to the broadcast area, press row if you will, here at Virgil Fletcher Gymnasium. Getting closer to the start of action here as the Kahawks and Flyerettes are set to get going here. Last regional title for East St. Louis was in the 2019-2020 season under Coach Davis. They beat Cahokia, Highland, and Muscuda on their way to a regional title before losing to Centralia in the sectionals. Last regional title for Collinsville in the world of girls volleyball was in the 2007 season. Of course, featuring Michelle Barch. Get you a little bit of history as to how things went in that regard. That, of course, was the first year of the four-class system. Collinsville were able to beat Edwardsville in the regional championship, then defeated Moline in the sectional semifinal, Normal Community in the sectional championship game before losing in the super sectionals to Naperville Central. Kind of an interesting fact is that East St. Louis also won a regional that year, and as this was the first year of the one-class system, or the four-class system, excuse me, they did not have the regional playing regional, so Collinsville would have played East St. Louis, but they did not, and East St. Louis wound up losing to Normal Community in the sectional semifinals. So we are going to take a break now for the playing of the national anthem. We'll be back in just a minute for the starting lineups and the start of action here on the Kahok Broadcast Club Network.
At Visionary Wealth Advisors, we empower you to see your future before it's your future, to create your inheritance, to build your vision, to anticipate the known and unknown, and to find potential in both, and build new dawns. Visionary Wealth Advisors.
Visit Brad Keene at his Collinsville office at 106 North Clinton or call 618-467-8420. Caseyville VFW Post 1117 Auxiliary supports the VFW with post projects and fundraiser events. The Caseyville VFW Auxiliary also provides donations and sponsorship for Veterans in Need, Jefferson Barracks in St. Louis, the Caseyville Food Pantry, outreach programs, summer lunches for students in the Collinsville Unit 10 School District, and now the Kahok Sports Network. Plus, sponsoring CHS programs like band, theater, and sports. If you would like to provide support or join the Caseyville VFW Auxiliary, contact the Caseyville VFW Post 1117 at 618-344-9878.
We welcome you back, getting right into the starting lineups for the teams here for East St. Louis.
Number 9, Taylor Winfield. Outside, senior number 3, Jayana Scott. Center, senior number 16, Kimora Mosby. And the libero, junior number 1, Tyler Winfield.
The libero for the Flyerettes is Tyler Winfield. Your middle blockers are Ari Davis and Kendra Jennings. Your outside hitters are Jayana Scott and Zaria Colum. And Flyerettes choosing to go with two setters, Taylor Winfield and Kimora Mosby. Have the starting lineup here for Collinsville in just a moment. apologize for the slight camera issues we're having. Looks like it's a little better than it was, so for now I'm going to leave it alone. There's unfortunately not a ton that I can do, but it does look like it is better, hopefully. Hopefully it stays that way for the duration of our proceedings here. Mentioned East St. Louis coming in, I believe, at 4-3, definitely 1-1 in conference. Now the starting lineups for Collinsville. Senior setter number 2, Carly Altenberger, as is per usual.
Junior number 11, Avery Johnson.
First outside hitter will be Avery Johnson.
Middle hitter, senior number 14,
Your middles will be both sets were, but the Flowerettes were able to pick up the win 25-23, and then again by that same score in the second set. So we are ready to go. Kahawks out there in the white jerseys, purple lettering and numbering, except for Addie Muniz, who is in the opposite as libero, purple with white letters and numbering. East St. Louis out there in the standard royal blue and orange, a little bit of white trim. Numbering and lettering is in white. And their libero, Tyler Winfield, is in white with lettering in orange and blue trim. So I'm going to go ahead and get ready to go here pretty much right on time, actually. The freshman team won in 2 sets, and it was a pretty quick victory. They were done and over here in the main gym by probably about the halfway point of the second set, although I do not know the exact score. But we are just about ready to go here. Flowerettes have broken their huddle. Kahawks breaking theirs now. And looks like it will be East St. Louis to serve first, I do believe. We wait for the liberos to rotate in. Winfield will come in for East St. Louis and take the place of Jennings. And Muniz will come in and take the place of Jocelyn Johnson. We are ready to go, and it looks like Collinsville will be the team to serve first here in this first game. And so, as per usual, it'll be Carly Altenberger who will start us off here at 5:58 p.m. Serve over, set up by East St. Louis and pushed into the net there by Cullum, and that'll make it 1-0 Kahawks. Altenberger back to serve again. And she does so, and that one will be an ace as it came in a little low there for Jayla Horton, defensive specialist. And that'll make it 2-0. Altenberger back to serve once again. He does so. Over and picked up by Horton. And set up, and nice dig there from McMorris. Goes all the way over to the other side. East St. Louis looking to reset again, and the kill there is successful from Cullum. And that will get the Flowerettes on the board at 2-1. Back to serve for Flowerettes will be Tyler Winfield, their libero. Serve is over, picked up by McMorris. Altenberger setting up for Lily Johnson, and it is blocked down by the combination of Jennings and Cullum, and that'll make it 2-2. Winfield back to serve once again. She does so, again picked up by McMorris. A little too far, and winds up going into the net. It will be a point for East St. Louis, and that'll make it 3-2. Service run starting to develop here from the junior libero. She does so. Picked up by Avery Johnson, gets it to Altenberger, and the attempted kill from Lily Johnson went over, and I guess East St. Louis got a touch on that. And the kill there out of the middle for Kendra Jennings, and that'll make it 4-2 in favor of the Flyrettes. Winfield back to serve again. She does so. Picked up by Muniz. Altberger setting up for Avery Johnson, and she taps it over and into the net. First kill for Kahawks of the night. It goes to Avery Johnson, and it will be Avery who will go back to serve. 3 serving 4 here. Does so. Picked up by the Flyrettes and set up into the middle and put down for a kill there by Cullum. And that'll make it 5-3 Flyrettes. Rotating in will be Kamora Mosby as well as Dariah Ford. And it will be Mosby who will go back to serve. She does so. Picked up by Avery Johnson, set up by Altenberger for Lily, and her kill gets through the block, and that'll make it 5-4. Mari Edwards will be third in the order for the Kahawks. And she does so. Picked up there by Horton. And the attempted kill is down. We have a lift called. Looks like. Okay. Point for East St. Louis at any rate. And it'll make it 6-4. So now back to serve will be Jayla Horton. And that one goes into the net. Ava Muniz and Natalie Thompson rotating in. And it will be Thompson who will be fourth in the order. Altenberger and Lily Johnson to the bench. Thompson serve. Set up by Mosby for the just inserted Ford. And set it up for the Kahawks, number 12, Ava Muniz. Mosby setting it up again, and that will be pushed over and out, and that will tie us up at 6 apiece. Thompson will go back to serve again. He does so. Picked up by Horton. Mosby setting it up for, that was Scott. Avery Johnson able to get a piece of it. Muniz off the block. Mosby with a nice receive and unable to get around to pick up the dropping ball was Winfield. So that'll make it 7-6 Kahawks. Thompson back to serve once again. She does so, and that is out of bounds. Kendra Jennings will go back to serve for East St. Louis. She does so right at Muniz, and it spins over the net and out of bounds, so I guess not technically an ace, but a service point all the same for the junior middle blocker. Back to serve again, picked up by Avery this time. Thompson setting it up for McMorris, and that goes off of the block of Ari Davis. And McMorris is on the board with her first kill, and we are tied at 8. And it will be McMorris who will go back to serve. She does so, ticks off the top of the net. Mosby able to get to it and pushed over on the free ball. McMorris getting to it, high up in the air. Thompson setting it up for Avery, but Have a net violation called on East St. Louis, and that'll make it 9-8 in favor of the Kahawks. McMorris looking to extend the lead. She does so, and that is out of play. That'll tie us up at 9. Griffin Gutyar will rotate in for Collinsville, taking the place of McMorris. Taylor Winfield and Tamashe Miller in for the Flyerettes. And it will be Winfield, junior setter, who will go back to serve. Picked up by Gutyar. Set up for Avery at any rate. And Avery puts it down for the kill. And that'll make it 10-9 Kahawks. Edwards in for Jocelyn Johnson as the libero Ava Muniz will head back to serve for the Kahawks. And she does so. Hustling over to get there is Winfield. That being Taylor Winfield. We've got two of them. I guess I need to specify. Attempted kill from Ava Muniz, picked up by Cullum. And high pop-up there from Scott. Set up for Johnson. She taps it over. Flyerettes respond, setting it up now for Scott. And able to pick up the kill, and that will tie us up at 10. Back to serve will be Jayana Scott. Does so. Picked up by Gutyar. Thompson setting it up for Avery Johnson and able to pick up the kill. Her third of the night. And that'll make it 11-10 Kahawks, and then we'll get us back to the top of the Kahawks serving order as Altenberger and Lily Johnson come in for Ava Muniz and Jocelyn Johnson. And Altenberger goes back to serve. She does so. Low sinker goes into the net. Horton with a pretty clean receive for my eyes, but nobody there to set it up for one of the Flyerettes hitters. I guess that's technically an ace. Altenberger serves again. Pushed over, and Edwards does a nice job there, seeing it, and able to push it down for her first kill of the night. And that'll make it 13-10 Kahawks. Altenberger back to serve once again. She does so. Tapped over by Edwards again. This time, Davis there for East St. Louis. And a nice kill there from Cullum. And that will snap the run. It'll be 13-11 now. And now we're back to the top of the East St. Louis order as Tyla Winfield will head back to serve. She does so. Received cleanly by Gutyar. Set up by Altenberger. Johnson hit it over, but East St. Louis able to get to it. Attempted kill. Popped up into the air. Altenberger able to get to it. Set up for Johnson. Nice dig there from Tyla Winfield. And hit over and out there by, I believe that was Cullum. And that will make it 14-11 Kahawks. And Avery Johnson will go ahead and serve. And she does so. Picked up there by Horton. And we have a violation called on the Flyerettes. Net violation, I think. That'll make it 15-11 Collinsville. Serve over from Avery Johnson, dug out by Winfield. Set up and nice kill there from, that was Jennings, I believe. That'll make it 15-12. Mosby and Ford rotating in. Mosby will head back to serve as Miller and Taylor Winfield head to the bench. Does so, picked up by Avery Johnson, set up for McMorris, and that is out. So back to serve again is Mosby. She does so, floating, picked up by Avery, set up by Altenberger for Lilly, ticks off the top of the net and drops in. Maybe not textbook, but you'll take it at any rate. And that'll make it 16-13. Jocelyn Johnson in for Muniz, as Mari Edwards will head back to serve. She does so high and too far. And that'll make it 16-14. Annie Muniz back in. Zaria Colon back to serve for East St. Louis. She does so, picked up by Addie Muniz, set up by Altenberger for Lilly, and that goes through the block and down. Lilly with her third kill tonight. That'll make it 17-14. Ava Muniz and Thompson rotate in, so that means it's Natalie's turn to serve. Thompson serve, picked up by Horton, set up by Mosby for 4. Nice dig there from Addie Muniz, but goes too far towards the net, and so it'll be a point for East St. Louis. The 15 serving 17. Ari Davis back in as Horton heads to the bench. As Kendra Jennings will serve. She does so, picked up by McMorris. Thompson sets it up for Ava Muniz playing on the outside. Mosby will set it into the middle, blocked by McMorris, tapped over, and nice job there by Scott. Able to get that one down, and we are back to a 1-point ball game. 17-16, Jennings will serve again. Set up by Morris, now set up by Thompson for McMorris, and that is too far. And that will tie us up at 17. First tie since 10-10. Jennings will serve again. Does so. Picked up by Muniz. Set up by Thompson for McMorris. Her tap over is deflected. So Zakaya picks up her second kill, and that will give the Kahawks the lead once again. Now it will be Z's turn to serve. And that goes into the net. 18-18. Gutyar back in as Taylor Winfield and Tamasha Miller rotate back in for East St. Louis. So we have and they're actually going to bring, didn't get the rotation notified, but in now is Gutyar. McMorris will go to the bench. Serve from Winfield, picked up by Avery. Thompson setting it back to Avery and finding some wide open space there. Avery with her fourth kill, and that'll make it 19-18 Kahawks. Edwards in, and we have a timeout taken by Coach Davis. So we'll go ahead and take one as well. Be back here in just a bit on the Kahawk Broadcast Club Network.
Financial investments are very important, but so are the investments of time, patience, and encouragement our young athletes receive from their coaches, teachers, and mentors. Jason Regg, your Benjamin F. Edwards financial advisor, understands this. That's why Jason Regg is a proud supporter of your Collinsville Kahawks and the Kahawk Sports Network, as well as the Kahawk Educator of the Month Award. For all of your investment needs, see financial advisor and investment vice president Jason Regg at the Benjamin F. Edwards office in Collinsville, located at 1008 Vandalia Street, or call Jason Regg at 618-223-5215 or visit BenjaminFEdwards.com. Benjamin F. Edwards, member SIPC.
We welcome you back here to Fletcher Gymnasium. Again, do apologize for the not ideal video quality. Unfortunately, there's not a ton that I can do. Annie Muna is back to serve for Collinsville, and she does so. Picked up by the Flyerettes, set up by Winfield. Just tapping it over there is Scott. Thompson setting it up for Ava Muniz, but that goes into the net, and that'll be a point for the Flyerettes. It'll be 19-19, as it'll be Jayana Scott who will go back to serve for Eastside. She does so. Picked up by Gutyar, set up by Thompson for Avery, and that gets through the block. Avery with her 5th kill of the evening. That makes it 20-19. That'll get us back to the top of the rotation for Collinsville. Altberger and Lilly in. Ava Muniz and Thompson out. And Natalie will get some instruction from Coach Dawson about something. Altenberger serve, picked up by Horton, set up by Winfield. And a big kill, nice block there up front from Edwards and Lily Johnson. Go right back to the well. Nice dig from Addie, set up for Lily, and didn't go great for her, and so that'll tie us up at 20 apiece. Kendra Jennings back in for the Flyerettes, back to the top of their rotation as Tyler Winfield goes back to serve. She does so. Low screamer gets over the net, and nice presence of mind there from Jennings. Able to get it over, and that'll make it 21-20. First lead for the Flyerettes since 8-7, I believe. Yeah, first lead for the Flyerettes since 8-7. That will prompt a timeout from Coach Dawson. We'll go ahead and keep it here for this one. Kahok soccer. Don't know why I said it like that. Kahok soccer will be in action here in a little bit, just across the way over at Kahok Stadium. Kahok's taking on Belleville East. Todd Duke and Matt Langley will have that game for you. This is my lone broadcast on this one. I will be helping Todd out on Thursday as the Kahawks travel down. Kahawk soccer team travel down to take on Belleville West. And of course, Football Friday is the boys travel out to not to East St. Louis, to Mount Vernon to take on the Rams. Winfield with the serve over, and nice dig there from Avery Johnson, pushed over by Gutyar. Pushed up for the Kahawks, tapped over and down, and that'll make it 22-20. Winfield to serve again. She does so. Picked up by Gutyar, set up by Altenberger for Edwards, and not a great set, not a ton that Amari could do with it. And that'll make it 23-20. Winfield back to serve again. She does so. Picked up by Gutyar. Altenberger setting it up for Avery Johnson. That is blocked down. Nice job there by Jennings. And that'll make it 24-20 East St. Louis. And that'll prompt another timeout from Coach Dawson. And we're going to go ahead and take a break this time. Be back here in just a bit on the Kahawk Broadcast Club Network.
Pack Mail of Collinsville, locally owned and operated by Ryan Combs. Pack Mail can ship anything, anywhere. They treat you like a neighbor because, well, you are a neighbor. Pack Mail offers shipping materials and containers, private mailboxes, as well as climate-controlled self-storage. Visit Pack Mail at 407 Beltline Road in Collinsville. Online, We ship stlouis.com or call Pack Mail at 346-4884.
Timeout is over and done with. I'll try and reset the camera again. We'll see some change made here as Cameron Emig and Alyssa Yanger will come in for the first time. Winfield will serve for the set. She does so, and that is in. And that is the end of the first set. 25-20 in favor of the Flyrettes. So we'll go ahead and take a couple-minute break here. Be back in just a bit for second set action here on the Kahok Broadcast Club Network.
Your home is where you feel happy, safe, and secure. So if you see signs of foundation problems like cracks or uneven floors, worrying is natural, and getting it fixed is crucial. Woods Basement Systems understands. We've been solving foundation worries since 1986. Woods experts have the training and equipment to make permanent repairs. So stop worrying, because with Woods, it's fixed forever. Foundation problems don't get better with time, they get better with Woods, the all things basement-y experts. Call or go to woodsbasementsystems.com today.
Probably the largest purchase you'll ever make. We have 5 agents on our team.
We cover about an hour radius around St. Louis.
We grew up here. We know every town like the back of our hands.
Our job as realtors is helping someone find their dream home, whether it's a family or an individual. We just want to do everything that we can to keep the process as simple and as stress-free as possible for you.
The Blaylock Group, the official realtors of the Kahok Sports Network and Kahok Athletics. Do you have a big land improvement project that requires some outside help? Call Petroff Trucking Company. The Petroff Companies have been shaping the metro area since 1975. Family owned and operated, Petroff Trucking Company can do the job and do it right. Hauling, excavating, and grading, they do that and more. Petroff Companies also has roll-off dumpster rentals. They also specialize in dirt and rock sales. Petroff Trucking Company can help you develop your land for your needs. Petroff Trucking Company. Check out their website, petrofftrucking.com, or give them a call, 618-797-6100. Petroff Trucking Company, shaping the metro area since 1975.
We welcome you back to Virgil Fletcher Gymnasium. Coach Dawson giving some final instructions to the Kahawks as East St. Louis are ready and set to go here for our second set of action. Next action for, I guess I'll give it to you for both teams here real quick. Collinsville are in action next this coming Thursday as they make the fairly short trip down to O'Fallon to take on the Panthers. Next matchup for East St. Louis will also be Thursday, also on the road, also a Southwestern Conference game, as they also make a fairly short trip over to Belleville West. Just about ready to get underway here for our second set of action. Kahawks will be the receiving team. Muniz remains in at libero. Winfield remains in at libero for East St. Louis. And we are ready to go. And as the first set ended, it will be Tyler Winfield to serve for the Flyrettes. She does so. Picked up by McMorris, set up by Yanger into the game, pushed over by Avery Johnson. Flyrettes look to respond. Attempted kill goes off of McMorris and spirals into the Kahawk bench. And that'll make it 1-0 East St. Louis. Winfield serves, picked up by Muniz to Yanger to Ava Muniz, and that was a net violation called. That'll make it 1-1. Up off the bench comes Thompson and Lily Johnson as Ava Muniz and Yanger go to the bench. So it will be Natalie who will be the first server for Collinsville here in the second set. She does so. That goes spinning off of Cullum, but picked up and attempted kill. Great dig there from Addie Muniz. And McMorris will float it over on the free ball. Pushed over, picked up by Thompson, set up for Lily Johnson. Her kill. Spinning out and able to get out there is Horton. Now pushed over by Winfield. Nice dig. And that'll be another net violation on the Flyrettes, and that'll make it 2-1 Kahawks. Thompson will go back to serve again. Does so. Over and out. That'll be an ace for Natalie. And that'll make it 3-1. Serve over, dug by Tyler Winfield, and that winds up dropping short of the net. And that'll make it 4-1, and then I'll get the Kahawk student section fired up, consisting mostly, but not exclusively, of JV and freshman players. Thompson serves again, right at Winfield, dug up again, and pushed over by Edwards. East St. Louis will respond. Nice dig there from McMorris. Goes right to Avery Johnson. Picked up by Horton. And unable to quite get to it to set it up well, there was Taylor Winfield. And that'll make it 5-1 Kahawks. Nice service run here for Thompson. He does so. Low spinner. Picked up and set up for Muniz, and just kind of tapping it over there was Avery Johnson. Set up, and kill goes into the net, and that'll make it 6-1 Kahawks. No major sign of emotion from Coach Davis. Thompson will serve again. He does so, and that spins off, but picked up by Morton. Just tapped over. Thompson setting it up for Avery Johnson, and nice dig there from Tyler Winfield. Set up again for, I believe that was Cullum. Now Lily Johnson will tap it over. Another great dig from Winfield. Tapped over and just kind of played over to the sideline, and that one goes out of bounds, and that will end the service run as a point for East St. Louis makes it 6-2. Mosby in for Ford, and Mosby in for Taylor Winfield and Tamaisha Miller. And again, it will be Kamora Mosby who will go back to serve. She does so, and that goes spinning off of Muniz. Ace for the senior makes it 6-3. He does so. Picked up by McMorris. Tapped over by Thompson to Mosby. And nice kill there from Jennings. And that'll make it 6-4 in favor of Collinsville. Back to serve again will be Mosby. She does so. Picked up by Muniz. And set up now for Lily Johnson. That gets through the block. Lily Johnson with her 4th kill of the night, and that'll make it 7-4. Emig in for Muniz as Edwards goes back to serve. Or actually, no, Avery, right? That would be correct for the rotation. So not yet. So try to make that rotational change a bit too soon. Avery serves, and that goes spinning off of Tyler Winfield. That'll make it 8-4. So an ace for Avery to go along with her 5 kills. Serve over, picked up by Winfield, able to get a piece of it. Was Cullum, and pushed over by Jennings. Edwards pops it up into the air. East St. Louis will play on, and nice kill there from Cullum. And that'll make it 8-5. Back to serve is Cullum. As rotating in for Horton is Scott. And Horton may be a little shaken up on the play, so she'll be all the best for her. She makes her way to the locker room. Another kill from Lily Johnson in the meanwhile, as that'll make it 9-5. Back to serve for the Kahawks is Edwards. She does so. Picked up by Winfield. And just kind of pushed over. Nice dig there from McMorris. Set up for Lily Johnson. That's popped up and too far. And that'll make it 9-6. Edwards out. Addie Muniz in. Going back to serve again is Jennings. She does so. Set up for Avery Johnson. Deflected off the block. Flyers will look to push. Set up by Mosby into the middle for Davis. And that just kind of taps over the net, so. And they're actually going to call that a net violation, so point for the Flyerettes. Or actually not. Point for Collinsville, so never mind. Okay, 10-6. So it'll be Alyssa Yanger who will head back to serve. And she does so. And that is picked up by East St. Louis and just kind of tapped over and able to get through the block of Emig there from Scott. And that will give East St. Louis their 7th point. Up off the bench comes Taylor Winfield and Miller, as I have some communication here. All right, well, we are good to go, it looks like. Back to serve for the Flyerettes will be Taylor Winfield. She does so. Picked up by Addie Muniz. Set up by Yanger for McMorris. And Zakaya gets it over. And just kind of pushed up. And that will be a point for Collinsville. 11-7. Gutyar off the bench for McMorris. And it looks like Griffin will head back to serve, something that she did not do in the first set. She does so. Picked up by Tyler Winfield. Set up for Scott. Griffin with the dig. Set up by Yanger for Emig. She pushes it over. Flyerettes look to respond. Popped up into the air. Gutyar receives again. Yanger setting it up for Avery Johnson. She goes along the net and picks up her 6th kill. And first of the set, actually, and that'll make it 12-7 Kahawks. Gutyar back to serve once again. Does so. Pushed over there by Cullum and eventually finding its way to Davis. Kahok's look to respond. Set up for Emig, and that is... The hit was out, but have some sort of violation call, and that'll make it 13-7. Referees seem content with their response. The St. Louis fans are maybe not thrilled with it. But at any rate, Gutjahr will serve again. Popped up into the air. Attempted kill there from Davis. Yanger setting it up for Avery Johnson off the top of the net. Winfield will set it up now, and able to get the kill there was Scott. And that'll make it 13-8. Back to serve will be Scott for East St. Louis. She does so. Picked up by Gutjahr. Set up by Yanger for Ava Muniz. She goes cross court. Picked up by Winfield. And that goes in. Found the corner there. Did Cullum. And that'll make it 13-9. Pushed up and over. Gutjahr set up by Yanger for Johnson. That is blocked down. Nice job there from Miller and Davis, and that'll make it 13-10. Back to serve again is Scott. Popped up into the air. Gutjahr to Yanger to Ava Muniz. Picked up by Miller, and out of the back row comes Scott, and that is too far. Gutjahr doing a good job just getting out of the way. And that'll be a point for Collinsville. Edwards in for Emig. Muniz back to serve. And we are ready to go here as Coach Dawson giving some instructions to Yanger. And serve over, and nice presence of mind there from Avery Johnson to put it down for the kill, her 7th of the night. And that'll make it 15-10 in favor of the Kahawks. And that is too far, that serve. Make it 15-11 and quiet down the crowd a little bit. And back to the top of the Flowerettes order as Tyler Winfield serves. Picked up by Gutjahr to Yanger to Avery Johnson, and give her number 8. And that'll make it 16-11. Thompson and Lily Johnson off the bench. So we're back to the top of the Kahawks order as Thompson will head back to serve. Does so, and that'll be an ace. Thompson with her second ace of the night, and that'll make it 17-11. And that'll prompt a timeout from Coach Davis. So we will take one as well. Be back here in just a bit on the Kahawk Broadcast Club Network.
Collinsville High School alumni Stacy Lauenstein, CHS class of 91, Lisa Bassetto, Sarah Sulke, and Tracy Limp, CHS class of 94, Tony Geisen, CHS class of 96, and Kevin Robinson, CHS class of 99, want to wish all of our Kahawks a great year. We look forward to cheering you on and supporting you. Work hard on the court and the field, as well as in the classroom. Remember, once a Kahawk, always a Kahawk. Hashtag Kahawk Family.
We welcome you back here to Fletcher Gym. Timeout is over. Natalie Thompson back to serve once again. 17 serving 11 here for Collinsville. Thompson does so. Picked up by Horton. Set up by Taylor Winfield and put down, I believe, by Miller. And that will snap the service run, make it 17-12. Mosby and Ford rotating in. This means it's Mosby's turn to serve. Coach Dawson and Avery Johnson having a conversation about something. Does so. Picked up by Avery Johnson, set up by Thompson for Edwards, and we have a net violation, it looks like. And I'll make it 18-12. McMorris in for Gutjahr. Back to serve is Avery. Does so, low screamer, and that goes spinning into the Flowerettes bench. Avery with her second ace, and that'll make it 19-12. And we'll have a substitution made, as into the game for the first time is Kanaya McLean, sophomore defensive specialist for East St. Louis. Serve from Johnson, hit up off of the rafters here, and just kind of popped over. Johnson to Air and McMorris off the top of the net, and able to eventually find the floor, and that'll make it 20-12. Zakaya with her third kill. Avery Johnson back to serve, spinning over, set up by Thompson for Edwards, and that goes through. Set up by Thompson to Muniz, and Lily Johnson flat-footed, but that goes off of the arm of Jennings. And that'll be Lily's sixth kill of the night. And that'll send Avery back to serve again. Does so. Picked up by Winfield, and that goes into the third row. 22-12. Back in for the Flowerettes is Jayana Scott. Avery Johnson will serve again, right to Scott. Picks up that one well enough. Mosby able to get it to Cullum, and tapped over by Thompson to Ford now, just kind of pushed over there by Jennings. Kahawks look to respond, set up for McMorris, and a big kill there from the sophomore, and that'll make it 23-12. Timeout East St. Louis. We'll go ahead and keep it here. Getting ready to go now. Timeout is over. And another ace there for Johnson. That'll make it 24-12. And another ace, nearly. Actually able to get it over. Lily Johnson taps it over. Great dig there from Winfield. And tapped over, picked up by Johnson to Thompson to McMorris. And that goes off the top of the net and out of bounds. That snaps the pretty darn long service run from Johnson. So back to serve will be Zaria Cullum for the Flowerettes. He does so. Picked up by Avery Johnson, set up for Lily. And that bounces off the scoreboard. One of those unique things about playing here in Fletcher Gym. And just kind of smacked over there by Edwards. St. Louis looking to respond, and that too close to let go. And results in a kill for, that might have been Winfield actually. Rotating out is Ford, as in comes Kenley Dupard, junior outside hitter. Number 13, first time I called her name tonight. Picked up by Avery Johnson to Thompson, tapped over. Avery gets it. Thompson setting it up now for Lily, and that gets through. And nice hustle there from Dupard, but comes down, and that will make it 25-14. So we will have a third set here on the Kahok Broadcast Club Network. We'll be back to tell you all about it here in just a couple minutes.
Mike's Automotive in Collinsville is a T3 certified tire dealer and so much more. Sure, Mike's Automotive has tires. They can also help with making sure your entire vehicle is road ready, from belts and hoses to preventative maintenance like oil changes and tire rotation. Plus a lot more than that. Mike's Automotive has 3 locations to choose from. Mike's Automotive in St. Louis and Millstadt, and Mike's Automotive in Collinsville at 1150 St. Louis Road, just blocks from the high school. Or call Mike's Automotive at 618-345-0611. Mike's Automotive in Collinsville. Lottie's Cafe, Collinsville's hidden gem. Lottie's Cafe offers food, cocktails, and gaming in a great atmosphere highlighted by fast and friendly service. Lottie's Cafe also offers a unique menu that features soups and salads, sandwiches and paninis, pizza and flatbreads, appetizers and desserts, as well as breakfast. That's right, we said breakfast. Unique breakfast items such as a breakfast stromboli, a breakfast BLT, and breakfast burritos. Lottie's also offers creative cocktails, a wine bar, the coldest beer around, and a video gaming area for those 21 and older. And don't forget the Lottie's Cafe gift certificates. Lottie's Cafe, Collinsville's hidden gem. Check them out online at lottiescafe.com, on Facebook, or in person in the Strip next to the Walmart Neighborhood Market. Or call Lottie's Cafe at 618-223-8256. Lottie's Cafe, Collinsville's hidden gem. Lakeside Roofing in Collinsville. Let the professionals at Lakeside Roofing protect your most important investment, your home or business. Have the elements taken a toll on your roof system? Notice a leaking roof? Maybe it's time for a free roof inspection. Regular maintenance can extend the life of your roofing system by 10 years or more. Lakeside Roofing is your winning team for commercial and residential roofing systems. Lakeside's all-star professionals have installed, repaired, and maintained hundreds of roofs on both sides of the river. Call Lakeside Roofing today at 618-344-2800 or 314-241-5253 or online at lakesideroofing.com. Lakeside Roofing, celebrating 50 years of serving the metro area. Choose experience, choose Lakeside.
We welcome you back here to Virgil Fletcher Gymnasium. Getting ready now for getting ready to go now. Be East St. Louis to serve first, I do believe. Annie Muniz will remain as libero. She'll rotate in for Cameron Emig. Back to serve is Tyler Winfield for East St. Louis. So picked up by McMorris, set up by Yanger for Avery Johnson, and that is on the wrong side of the net. So as in the second set, it'll be East St. Louis who get the first point. Winfield does so, picked up by Annie Muniz, set up by Yanger for Edwards, spinning off the top of the net and down. Amari picks up her second kill, and that'll make it 1-1. Rotating in are Thompson and Lily Johnson. And as in set number 2, it will be Natalie to start Collinsville off in the service department. She does so. Spinning up in the air, pushed over. Thompson setting it up for Muniz, now getting it to Lily. Pushed over and picked up there by Winfield. Lily taps it over, set up by Tyler Winfield, and nice job there from Cullum. Gets it down, and that'll make it 2-1 Flyrettes. First time all match that East St. Louis has had a lead in set after 3. Both times before it has been 2-1 Collinsville. We have a quick stoppage here as Thompson has a paraphernalia adjustment. Winfield with a discussion to be had with the referee. Now the Collinsville floor captain, Avery Johnson, will come over and relay the message to Coach Dawson. Doesn't appear to be anything major. Kamora Mosby is back to serve for East St. Louis. She does so, picked up by Muniz, set up by Thompson for Avery, and that one is down with some ferocity. Avery with her 9th kill, and that'll make it 2-2, and will be Avery who will head back to serve. She does so, picked up by Winfield. Set up and pushed over there by Cullum. Setting it up for Lily Johnson, and we have a net violation called, I believe. That'll make it 3-2. I'll hold for a moment as McMorris ties her shoe. Now we're ready to go. Avery back to serve, popped up into the air. Winfield able to get it after it bounces off of Cullum, pushed over. Avery Johnson receives and winds up being just kind of lobbed over by Edwards. Set up and nice dig there from Avery Johnson, and that is out. Looks pretty close, but the referee is closer to it than I was. Rotating in is Jayana Scott for Jayla Horton. As back to serve will be Kendra Jennings for, actually not Kendra Jennings, that is Cullum, pardon me. Does so, and kind of winds up spinning into the net. And that'll make it 4-3. Does so. Dig from Muniz. Pushed up by McMorris and down for a point. Make it 5-3. Pushed over, picked up by Muniz, set up for Edwards, and that's down for a kill. Make it 4-5. Emma again for Muniz, Edwards back to serve. And she does so. Jennings gets it over, picked up by Lily Johnson, set up by Thompson for McMorris. And that will be a kill for Zakaya, her 5th, and that will tie it up at 5. Edwards to serve again, and that'll be an ace. Notice from the beginning of the year that Collinsville put a bit of an increased focus on serving, and that was the 7th of the match for the Kahawks. Set up and pushed over there by Jennings. Set up over here for Johnson and blocked down by Jennings, and that will tie us at 6. Muniz in for Edwards. Back to serve this time will be Jennings. And she does so. Attempted kill from Avery Johnson, picked up by St. Louis. Set up over here for Scott. Deflected and down. And that'll make it 7-6. Bit of intensity here. Pretty good crowd on hand as we approach the 7 o'clock hour. That ticks off the top of the net and down. That'll be an ace and make it 8-6. Serve over, picked up by McMorris, set up by Thompson for Emig. That is too far, no deflection. That'll make it 9-6, East St. Louis. Timeout Collinsville. We'll go ahead and take a break. Be back here in just a moment on the Kahawk Broadcast Club Network.
All Fluffed Up Grooming Salon in Caseyville is your go-to place to get that pampered treatment for your fur baby. All Fluffed Up offers one-on-one grooming sessions by skilled and professional groomers, focusing on a stress-free and fear-free experience for both pup and pup parent. Owned and operated by former Kahawk Jenny Eves, All Fluffed Up in Caseyville offers nail trimming, ear cleanings, bathing, and fur trimming, as well as full cuts. All Fluffed Up Grooming Salon in Caseyville, 16 East Reynolds Street. Call Jenny Eves for an appointment at 618-855-8533. Mobile grooming coming soon. That's All Fluffed Up in Caseyville, 618-855-8533.
We welcome you back here to Fletcher Gymnasium. Kendra Jennings looking to continue her service run. 9 serving 6 here in our deciding set between Collinsville and East St. Louis. She does so. Received by Muniz. Set up by Thompson for Lily Johnson. Nice there from Mosby. Gets it to Johnson. Being Avery. Set up for Emig, and that is out. Not by much. That'll make it 10-6. Jennings does so, picked up by Avery Johnson, set up by Thompson for Avery, and that spins off the top of the net and down. 10 kills for Avery. That'll make it 10-7. Ava Muniz and Alyssa Yanger in, which means that Yanger will go back to serve. She does so. Too far. Taylor Winfield and Tamaisha Miller in for the Flyerettes. And it will be Taylor Winfield who will go back to serve. She does so. Picked up by Muniz to Yanger to McMorris. She kind of pushes it over. Winfield able to set it up, pushed over by Davis. Set up for McMorris, and that is blocked and might have honestly been going out of bounds. Set up for Ava Muniz, and that one kept in there by Cullum. Pushed over. Avery Johnson receives it well. Set up for Avery. Pushed over off the deflection. Set up into the middle and blocked by Emig. Tapped over and down, and that'll make it 12-7. Back to serve is Winfield again. Muniz to Yanger. McMorris goes cross court and too far cross court. 13-7. Altenberger will come in for Yanger. Serve from Winfield. Finds the hardwood. Bit of a miscommunication there between Addie Muniz and McMorris. Winfield serves into the net. 14-8. Gutyar up off the bench, comes in for McMorris, and will head back to serve. Serve over, picked up by Winfield. Set up for Scott, and nice job reading that from Addie Muniz. And Ava Muniz able to pick up her first kill of the night. That'll make it 14-9. Serve is over. Picked up by Winfield. Tapped over by Scott and down. 15-9. Back to serve is Scott. And that is out. 15-10. Jayla Horton back in for the Flyrettes. Mari Edwards in for Collinsville. Addie Muniz back to serve. She does so. By Winfield, set up and tapped over, and we have a net violation. 15-11. Muniz ticks it off the top of the net. Winfield does a good job hustling in to get it. Set up for Cullum. Kahawks look to respond well. Tapped over by Johnson. And able to set up the receive. Set up for Ava Muniz. And that is just kind of pushed over. Gutyar to Altenberger to Edwards. And we have a some sort of violation called on the Flyers. That'll make it 15-12. Closest it's been since it was 10-7. And we'll have a discussion here as the chair referee will bring the line judge in. Conversation fairly brief. Muniz will serve again. Picked up by Tyler Winfield. Set up by Taylor Winfield. And blocked down there by Edwards. And Muniz stays with it. Holmberger with the receive. Getting it to Muniz. Muniz to Muniz connection. And that goes behind the wire. So Ava picks up her second kill. And that'll make it 15-13. Muniz does so, and that'll be an ace. (15-14). Muniz serves again off of Winfield and winds up going all the way over. Set up for Avery. She'll go cross court, and that caught Winfield in the face, unfortunately. But it will be a kill for Avery at any rate. Give her 11. 11 to match her number. Muniz will serve again. Goes over. And set up, and that is out. Muniz does a good job holding off, letting that one go. 16-15, first lead for the Kahawks since it was 3-2. That one just gets over the net. Edwards taps it over, and it winds up being Winfield who will push it over for the Flyrettes. Altenberger setting it up for Johnson, just taps it over. Setting it up, and it will be a free ball over, and Edwards will push it over for Collinsville. St. Louis comes back, tap down, and it winds up being a kill for Cullum. And that'll be, we'll tie it and get us back to the top of the Flyerette service order with Tyler Winfield. She does so. Muniz gets it over to Winfield. Set up and tap down. Gutyard does a good job hustling to it. Altenberger setting it up for Ava Muniz. Winfield there, it winds up dropping down. 17-16 Collinsville. Thompson and Lily Johnson off the bench. As we'll have a timeout taken. We'll go ahead and keep it here. As we are getting going here. It's been a fun one. Very entertaining back and forth game. (17 to 16). Natalie Thompson back to serve. Pushed over by Thompson. Spiraling down, and it'll be a free ball over from Winfield to Muniz. Set up by Thompson for Lily Johnson. Spinning off the top of the net, winds up going back over to Collinsville. Avery Johnson puts it up into the air, and East St. Louis able to get to it. And we have a collision. It'll be a point for Collinsville. And maybe a little slow to get up here is one of the Flyrettes players. And that is, sorry, a Cullum. So we got a nice hand from those in attendance, and looks like she's going to stay in the game. Ready to go. Thompson back to serve again. And that one goes into the net. 18-17. Cullum will come out, replaced by Dupard. And Kimora Mosby will come in and go back to serve. She does so. Picked up by Gutjahr, set up by Thompson for Johnson, and that goes off the block and out, which I believe counts as a kill. 12 now for Avery, and I'll make it 19-17. Avery back to serve, McMorris in for Gutjahr. And that one goes into the net. 19-18. Jayana Scott comes in for Horton. Back to serve is Cullum. And she does so. Muniz to Thompson to Lily Johnson and blocked down. Nice job there from Jennings, and we are tied at 19. Cullum will serve once again. Does so to Muniz, set up by Thompson for Johnson off of Tyler Winfield. And setting it up and able to get it over are the Flyrettes. Johnson setting it up for McMorris, and that is out. 20-19 East St. Louis. Cullum back to serve again. To Muniz, set up by Thompson for McMorris, and Gentler this time works well. Zakaya with her 6th kill, and we are tied at 20. Emig will come in for Muniz, which means Edwards will go back to serve. We got remember, win by 2. Set up and down. Nice kill there from Scott. 21-20. Muniz in for Edwards. Back to serve will be Jennings for East St. Louis. He does so. Picked up by McMorris to Johnson. It'll be a free ball for Thompson. Gets it over. Set up for Scott, and great dig there from Thompson. McMorris will get it over to Lily Johnson. That was deflected. And it'll wind up being a free ball. Getting it over. And set up into the middle, and again dug out. We're still going. And Emig spins it off, and that goes into the net. It'll be a point for Collinsville. 21-21. Altenberger and Ava Muniz back in. Thompson and Lily Johnson to the bench. Altenberger will go back to serve. Replaced Yanger earlier. Floats it over. Set up by Mosby. And McMorris does a good job keeping that one. It'll be just a free ball over. Picked up by Winfield. And tapped over and able to get it down there was Scott. 22-21. Dupard out. Winfield in. Taylor Winfield in. Miller in as well. Jocelyn Johnson in for Collinsville. Served over. Picked up by Avery Johnson to Altenberger, setting it up for McMorris, and that is too far. 23-21 East St. Louis. Coach Dawson calls timeout. We'll take one as well. Be back here in just a bit on the Kahok Broadcast Club Network.
Looking for a new place to catch the game with a cold drink and some great food? Look no further than 1101 Bar and Grill in Caseyville. 1101 Bar and Grill features pizza, burgers, wraps, and salads, plus 7 large screen TVs to catch the latest Kahok games and all of the pro sports across the spectrum, and all the college football and basketball you can handle. 1101 Bar and Grill in Caseyville, 1101 Caseyville Road, right across the street from Kahok Stadium. Call 1101 Bar and Grill for carryout orders at 618-223-1332.
I welcome you back into Virgil Fletcher Gymnasium. 23-21 East St. Louis. Taylor Winfield will serve. She does so. Picked up by Muniz. Set up by Altberger for Jocelyn Johnson and blocked down by Davis. Match point. Serve over from Winfield is high. Picked up by Muniz. Set up by Altenberger for Ava Muniz. And it's tapped over by Winfield. Scramble for it. McMorris able to get it over. We continue on. Set up and tap down, but it goes into the net. 24-22. Griffin Gutyar will go back to serve for Collinsville. And she does so. Picked up fairly well, set up by Winfield. It's kind of pushed over, and that goes behind the wire. Be a point for Collinsville, 24-23. Gutyar will serve again. And tapped, goes underneath the net. We are tied at 24. Kahok survive 2 set points. Gutyar will serve. And just kind of tapped over. Muniz will get it over. And nice job. Don't know that Altenberger really had any control over that. Johnson with the tap over. Gets pushed over. Winfield will get it. And left-handed spike down from Jocelyn Johnson. What a time for your first kill. 25-24 Collinsville. Gutyar will serve for the match. Timeout East St. Louis. We will keep it here for this one, folks. This has been a very, very entertaining ball game. I'd like to thank you all for watching. It's been fun. Both conferences relatively brief. Gutyar, as I mentioned, will serve for the match. Corner referees head back to their position. You can feel the energy in the building here. Gutyar serves, and that is too far. We are tied at 25. Jayana Scott will serve for East St. Louis. Popped up into the air, Muniz. That's it to Altenberger, and it winds up just kind of being pushed over by Avery Johnson. East St. Louis will look to respond. Tapped over and down. 26-25 Flyerettes. And it will be Jayana Scott to serve for the match. Popped up into the air. Johnson to Altenberger, back to Johnson, and down for a kill. We keep going. 13 kills now for Avery Johnson. Jayla Horton will rotate in for East St. Louis, Amari Edwards in for Collinsville. Will be Addie Muniz who will serve. 26-26 here in our third set. He does so. And that one is an ace for Addie, her second. 27-26. Another match point for Collinsville. Serve is over. Floweret's able to get to it. Set up and tapped over. Not very far. Scramble situation. Avery Johnson gets it over. St. Louis stay on. Set up into the middle and not down. Not down. Gutjahr will just kind of push it over. We keep going. Tap down again, but it goes into the net. Some frustration there as Collinsville picks up the win. How about that, folks? 28-26 is your final in the third set. Collinsville pick up their first conference win of the year. Improved to 7-6, 1-2 in conference. East St. Louis will fall to, I believe, 4-4. Definitely 1-2 in conference. And that will wrap things up. That was a very fun ball game. My next broadcast will be 1 week from today. I will have some more soccer for you, I do believe, as the Kahawks take on, I do want to make sure I get this correct, O'Fallon. I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up here. I'd like to thank you all for watching. This has been a lot of fun. All right. Take care, everybody, and have a great rest of your evening.